Hello everyone, so today we're going to be talking about Alpha 16 for Squad, and the official patch notes have been released. This means that helicopters are here for everyone to play. This is a highly anticipated day. Everyone's been waiting for helicopters, and I've got to say it has changed the game significantly. Helicopters have completely changed how Squad is played, just with the atmosphere that they bring, the mobility. It's just crazy how much this one feature, even though there's just two helicopters in, just the Mi-8 and the Blackhawk, how much these two helicopters have changed the feeling of Squad. So if you're looking to jump into Squad now that helicopters are here, head over to karmakut.com, where your purchase will support the channel at the same time. But getting straight into it, the systems that have been released, once of course, helicopters, medium lift helicopters capable of transport as well as dropping supplies. They also have medium machine guns on the side for very, very, very light casts. But goddamn, guys, helicopters are just so much fun. Not only do they speed up the pacing of the game with mobility and with faster movement, but they also just add so much to the atmosphere. Shooting down helicopters, just seeing helicopters drop people off, picking up people at LZs marked with smoke, doing strafing runs on light infantry targets. It's just crazy how much helicopters change the environment just by existing in the air, just by hearing them or seeing them. It just gives Squad a greater sense of scale. Now, we see this a lot in Postscriptum or in Sandstorm, where you have helicopter call-ins or airstrikes or call-ins with strafing runs in Postscriptum. Just seeing these aircraft, it gives the games a huge sense of scale, and that is the same for Squad. So it's just absolutely incredible. With helicopters, of course, we have the helicopter tutorial. So just like the infantry tutorial, it'll teach you everything you need to know. It's a place for you to practice. Please, for the love of God, do not jump on a server without knowing how to fly and steal a helicopter. You will get banned, you'll get kicked, you'll get flamed. Learn how to fly on your own in the private area on the training section, and then just learn it and then feel comfortable hopping into a public server. But people will hate you if you jump in there and you don't know what you're doing. So please, for the love of God, play both tutorials if you're new to Squad. Added a soft boundary system for all map layers that feature helicopters. What this means is that on old maps, you would have a hard map boundary, which means once you hit that map edge, you would walk into an invisible wall. Now with helicopters, you can kind of pass through that wall, but you'll enter a kind of soft kill zone where, if you stay in this limbo for too long, it'll kill you. Very similar to games like Battlefield, where they make you turn back around and get back into the fight. That's what this is. And this is so that helicopters have a little bit more room to maneuver on these maps, because honestly, to God, while some of these maps are really big, they start to feel really small once you start zipping around in the helos. Also, they fixed the limitation that caused servers to be able to only run 3 mods at a time. Now, this is interesting because there's no real reason for them to be tweaking this unless they feel like whitelisting mods again very soon. Not too many people are running 3 mods at a time. Not many people are even playing a modded server. So seeing them put attention into this means that hopefully we'll get whitelisted mods soon, and that's pretty much going to be the next game changer for Squad. Being able to play community content consistently, whether it be different factions, new maps, different game modes, different game types, a zombie mod or whatever. Being able to easily access these servers with other players is going to take Squad to the next level, being able to play all this new content that's made by the community, because that's just an endless pool of wealth and content that's just waiting to be played. We're just waiting for the correct integration right now to be able to host these servers and play on these servers. Moving on to game modes, there's nothing too interesting here. They've added a HAB hex zone defense mechanic for territory control, and all that really means is that when you have a HAB and a hex on territory control, the enemy cannot cap it until they get rid of your HAB. So what this means is that players can now create a defensive zone or a strong point or a super fob-ish on these kind of territory control layers, and then they'll be able to actually form a defensive strong point. Previously, other players or other teams, the enemy team, could just run through your territory and just skip HABs and just pass all this stuff just by capping the zone fast enough. Now you are forced to deal with the HAB and the fob before taking a certain zone, which I think is going to be really interesting, because players will be able to dictate what part of the maps they want to strong point. So definitely something to keep our eyes on as we start playing more territory control. Now, infantry gameplay. They have tweaked a couple things, the main thing being the infantry ground friction, which is the momentum system that's now in. Previously, you were able to kind of zip around and turn around and move at full speed. Now there is a slight slowdown whenever you're turning and moving, very similar to real life, right? You can't just run full sprint in one direction and turn around in 180 in the other direction at full speed. There's now a slight delay when you pick up speed after turning. So, small change. I'm already kind of used to it from games like Insurgency Sandstorm, and it makes sense for Squad. Just that more realistic infantry ground mechanic, and I hope to see them pay more attention to the actual movement system of the infantry gameplay, because I think it could use a little help in some areas, whether it comes to crouching and proning and all these different leaning mechanics and stuff. A couple of it could be fleshed out. They've updated a couple of the weapons, not too interesting. Handheld smokes. This is a pretty big change. Handheld smoke grenades now develop smoke quicker with increased smoke volume and duration. So a really big buff to smoke grenades. They come out faster, bigger, and they last longer, which means that I hope, for God's sakes, that we are able to use smokes more effectively now. So everyone, please, when we're making a push, use your smokes, okay? They're actually going to be a lot more effective than they were in previous patches. They were still really good in previous patches, but now you don't have to wait like a whole minute for that smoke to billow. It's going to come out faster, it's going to spread further, and it's going to last longer. So smoke grenades, I definitely think we're going to see a lot of use of them in this patch, especially when players start to realize how effective they are with this buff. They've modified the sounds for the M249, the M9, and the M110, as well as the AK. I'm not sure why that's not mentioned here. I love the new sounds. I think that whenever they change the sounds, most of the time they sound much better, and it just makes all the guns feel just a little bit fresh. It's a very small change that they make, but it really makes the gunplay feel a lot more fresh, even though it's just a sound change. Couple other changes, nothing too interesting here. One other thing here is not a fix, but kind of a nerf. The U.S. Army Scope Medic no longer has a frag grenade. I'm okay with this. I kind of feel like everyone should have one frag, but then I think about it, and you know, that leads to a lot of frag spam. So maybe only like riflemen and squad leaders should have frags. I don't know. However they want to deal with it, it is a very delicate balance that they have to kind of tweak and monitor, because you don't want to have too many frags, but you want to make sure you have enough frags in your squad that you can deal with certain situations, especially with building clearing, because there is no building destruction. That's pretty much all we've got for the infantry gameplay changes. Moving on to vehicle gameplay, they have the HIP and they have the Grouse or the Blackhawk, which is for squad. So very interesting stuff going on here. We've already seen these. These are very similar helicopters. The HIP does hold a little bit more. It's got two door-mounted PKPs, where the Blackhawk has the two M240 MMGs. So pretty similar. HIP is a little bit slower, of course, but a lot of fun just seeing these in-game. A cool little change here is that they remove the ability for players to turn vehicle engines on during the staging/planning phase. So no more engine noise when we're sitting there for 2 minutes trying to come up with a plan. That was slightly annoying in the previous staging rounds, just because like when you're trying to get together on comms or talk to people, you got like 6 different vehicles like turning on, moving around, and the engine noise is just so loud. Now that's no longer an issue. It's noticeably quieter in the staging phase, so definitely appreciate this. A couple of other fixes and changes, just quality of life stuff. Nothing too important as far as vehicle gameplay changes. Deployables, this is a pretty big fix. No longer will you lose points for digging down a friendly fob. Previously, you would still lose the tickets, so there's no reason to dig down friendly fobs. Now, please, if you're moving fobs from one point to the next and you don't need the old fob, get rid of it so you don't get ninja'd and lose those tickets. Just a couple of other fixes regarding the fob. Radio low health not blocking spawn, that's been fixed. A lot of fixes in this patch, so I'm very happy to see that they're bug fixing a lot of this. I wish there was a little bit more content, but there's a significant amount of changes here, or improvements. And then of course we do have helicopters and a new map, which we're going to get to in a second. They removed the Delta fire team and shifted the colors up. Meh, okay, alright, that's fine. They've changed the vehicle supply radial, which is normal. That's fine, we've seen that before. Yeah, there's nothing too interesting in the user interface changes. Now, maps. They added the new Mutaha map. It's got a day version and a night version. I don't know if I don't think there's any version with helicopters. They really need to do one of those, just because I think that map would be absolutely amazing with helicopters. But maybe they're waiting for fast ropes because of all these buildings. You can't really land anywhere. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Then, of course, helicopters and helipads being added to certain layers. And that's pretty much all the important things here. Just, once again, a lot of small changes. One thing I will say is that optimization. My God, I'm getting very good frames now. I'm actually running really smooth on really high settings. Of course, this is going to vary from computer to computer and monitor to monitor. But 2K, I'm running above 80 frames at 1.25 super sampling. Of course, I have a Ryzen 3900X as well as a 2080 Ti. So take all that with a grain of salt because that's a lot of expensive equipment. But I'm getting better frames on all maps this patch, so good on you, OWI. Moving on from that, the last thing I really want to note is the helicopter tail rotor known issue. So right now, you can't shoot at the tail rotor. The only way you lose your tail rotor is if you hit something else. But this is the most important part right here. Projectile damage to tail rotors will come in a future update. So eventually, we're going to be able to shoot out tail rotors, and we're going to see helicopters go spinning down in the ground. But as of right now, don't waste your ammo shooting for the tail. Just aim for the hull. That's pretty much all I've got in this patch right now, though. There's a couple other small changes. You can read through the whole thing. I'll leave a link to this in the description down below. But that's the biggest thing. Once, of course, helicopters now in-game. If you have not gotten Squad, Karmakut.com. Pick up a copy, support the channel at the same time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoy this patch because this is going to be a lot of fun. Servers are going to be packed. I will be on the squadops.gg servers. That's where you can find me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and a special thanks to my channel members. If you want to support the channel and get up to 20% off my whole game store, check out that blue join button down below. Speaking of Game Store, you can buy my favorite games and official merch at Karmakut.com, so check it out. Looking for more content to watch? Try our last video here or sub on the right for future uploads. Finally, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.